Hello, welcome. We are going to have a look at how to add comments to your code. Now, as any programmer would say, comments are not their favorite things, but very necessary in the programming world. And if you are a student creating a project for your school university purposes, I'm sure that you will be given marks for proper commenting. So I hope this video will help you. I'm going to show you, you might have seen the previous videos of the application that I've been working on as an example to take you through the coding processes. But I've got this screen. So I'm creating a graphical user interface based object oriented program in Java to manipulate data that is present in a Microsoft Access database. So that's the project that I have. These are the bunch of files that we have been working on. These are the screens that we have. So the one is called the main screen, the other one is called the register screen, which looks like this. And then I have got a middle tier, which is the array class for each screen, as well for this application, and two base classes, which is the register class as well as the student base class. Now, it is a key requirement to have proper comments. I will take you through some of the important steps of commenting and how to make sure that your commenting is done properly and it covers all the aspects. So we'll start at the bottom layer, which is the base class. So on top of your base class, you may need to require you may be required to add a comment giving an explanation of the purpose of the class. So you will say this class represents a student object. So you can add as much detail as you want, because the more detail there is, the better it is in terms of commenting. And so this is a comment on the class. Then we have to have a comment on the variables that are required, private private properties for the student object. We don't have to represent what these are, as long as your variable names are kind of self-explanatory. Then the methods need commenting. The easier way to comment methods is to put a slash and star star and press enter. That way it kind of auto fills a lot of the things for you, and you've got the first line is to tell us what the method is for. This is the constructor. So you will say constructor to instantiate a student object. So you've got the first line is to mention what the purpose of that method is. Then if there are parameters in the method, they are mentioned in this at parameter structure. You can say integer student ID. So you can tell us what that parameter represents as well as the data type that is required. Text, which is for the student name, and so on and so forth. You can continue filling that in. If there are, I'm going to show you another method which can be which can appear like this. So in this method, you can see there is no parameter list, so that way you don't have the at parameter instance. But what you have is you have a return type. So you will say you will say accessor method to get the student ID. And what does it return? It returns the integer, which is the student ID. So like that, you can code your method. The other way, other aspect of creating comments is to also include comments within methods for any sort of loops or difficult pieces of code. For example, this method obviously will have a comment for the method to return the list of students and registers. That's the purpose of the method. It returns a text value with the student details and the registers. So that's what the method returns. So I've indicated what it returns is the text value, which is actually the details of the student and the registers. Now within this method, you can see there are some for loops and structures. So I'm going to add comments on what that for loop is for. Loop through the array of students. So that's what 0 to size is. It's to loop through the array of students. Here the step is to get student ID for each student object. Excuse my spelling please. Okay, and then you are constructing. So if you want, you can add as many, like I said, you can add as many comments as you want. The more comments there are, it is considered better, but you should try to maintain a balance between the purpose of the comment. Does it justify you spending so much time typing out all this? Then you should say loop through the list of sorry, the array of registers over here. Then here we have a comparison structure, so we can say compare the student ID in the register with the student ID in the, the student's uh, ID that is part of this thing in the register with the student ID in the student array, for example. You can excuse my spelling. I'm typing a little bit faster than usual. And this is to construct your return string. And if you want, you can say here return the result string. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of how much to comment, how to comment, and what to comment on. Thank you.